Hello everyone, this is Otaku Showboat and welcome to Factorio. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a very brief period of time to discuss what is the most important feature in Factorio. Very specifically though, because that can be debated about the most important feature, it is the most important hidden feature in Factorio. What feature is that? Well, there is a very specific button that you can push in Factorio called F4. It is the F4 button on your keyboard. It brings up the debug settings. You may or may not already know about this debug settings menu. However, I'm pretty sure that for most people that their experience with debug settings is likely just show FPS. That's probably the extent of people using debug settings. If you actually have a look at all of these items in here, there's the show debug info on tooltips, that's also pretty useful, but that's not what we're discussing today because the most important setting in Factorio exists right down here near the bottom of the list. Show recipe icons on map. Show recipe icons on the map. You would not believe how many times I have gotten comments on YouTube from all my videos that I've produced of Factorio content over this past year plus, asking what mod I'm using to add the recipe icons onto the map. It is not a mod. This is a standard vanilla Factorio setting, and it's hidden in the debug settings. We may or may not in the future be able to have this in the actual settings menu, but for now, it's relegated into this massive list of things that you have to very specifically look for and find and tick under the Always tab on the debug settings. So if we have a look at the map view, this being a Crastorio playthrough, it really doesn't matter, I guess, what type of mods you're using. If you're using mods at all, this setting will apply, and you will very easily be able to tell the difference between having this setting being off and on, because by default, this is what you get when you go into the map view. This is it. This is what you see. Just a whole bunch of blue for buildings. Just a whole bunch of stuff for buildings. I do have a mod that sort of adds colors to the map view. Let's just not focus on the specific colors of the stuff that's on here because a lot of that is from the mod. But what's what? Can you tell me what's what among all of the mess that is the space just by looking at the map view without already knowing ahead of time what's going on where? You probably can tell that, well, this is oil up here, that this is probably a line of oil refineries. What recipe are they doing? Are they doing the basic recipe or are they doing the advanced recipe for oil? Well, considering the layout and the lack of cracking, this is probably the basic recipe, but you need to know the context of it. You need to have that knowledge ahead of time. You probably can tell that this is a very standard setup for power, that this is steam engines and this is boilers, that this is all power. You can tell that anyway, that there's no recipe here to show. And you can sort of tell the mines are on the coal patches. But what are the assemblers doing? What are the assemblers doing? What even is this big thing here? It's greenhouses making wood. Okay. I know that because I've zoomed in to see it, but just at a glance looking what's over here, we've got several things. We've got a furnace array. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to see what's going on in your furnaces as well, on your smelting, what's being smelted where? Well, by context, this would be smelting copper, this would be smelting iron, etc. But what's going on in here? What's going on with these buildings? This is attached to stone, so I guess they're doing stone. But what if I was using robots? What's going to be happening in a situation where I have a mall making robots, or I have any build utilizing robots, and I can't really see like what's coming from where precisely? So turning on show recipe icons on the map will immediately tell me, oh hey, I've got a whole bunch of iron smelting with a little bit of copper smelting over here. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in a little mini mall going on. I very specifically have a building giving me some assembling machines, my mining drills, my inserters, my various yellow belt stuff going on over here, and some pipes. I've got wood being made over here. I've got glass and stone bricks being made right in here. Some copper smelting, some iron smelting. I've got a line of I've got my science all in here, and I've got circuits being made. I've got engine units, steel production, etc., etc. I can see very specifically where things are in my mall as well. I can very specifically find things if I've forgotten where they are. I can see like, oh hey, here's all of my belt stuff. Here's a whole bunch of train related stuff. And here's inserters and building logistic stuff and all of that good stuff. All of it here. I can see what it is, what it's doing. This is doing the basic version of the cracking recipe, etc., etc., etc. I can see that I'm doing circuits up here from the map view. All of that is now known because I can just straight up see what the recipe on the machine is from this map view. That is, in my opinion, the most important setting. It should be on by default, but it's not. Make sure that you go in here and tick this check mark. It's the F4 button on your keyboard when you're in game. Regardless of what mods you're using, it's always there. Just a standard old vanilla setting. And while you're in here, very much consider that show FPS and the show debug info in the tooltips. That will tell you a lot more information about the specific entities, such as stack size. It tells you what the stack size is for various things. So, among a lot of other things, sometimes it's important to know what the actual entity name is in the code and all of that good stuff, so that you can tell what's going on in there, and also like what recipe a machine is doing. The specific recipe that the machine is doing can be found out through having that debug info on the tooltips, in case you want to try and find things in the code and muck about with them. So, with that, folks, very, very short video today. I would like to thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed this very different video from my usual content, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Otaku Showboat, as well as have a Patreon page that you can help to support me in my continued existence on, and that is at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. So if you are inclined and able, you can support me there, as well as follow me on Twitch. I will, of course, be back with more tutorials for the various mods and such going forward. Let me know if you have enjoyed this shorter, very specific take on a very specific concept, to see if you would like to see more very specific takes, and let me know what types of things you would like to see videos about, regardless of whether it's mod specific or if it's a vanilla feature to highlight, as in this video. So just let me know, leave a comment, do all the other stuff, and I will see you all on the next one.